So, hello to our viewers. Today we're taking this beautiful baby to St. Martin Airport. I was flying to Napa Valley and I noticed that there are two beautiful lakes. One is called Coyote, the other one is called Anderson. Looked for an airport, found St. Martin Echo 16. So we're going to do an IFR flight and see if she's going to enjoy the lake. So I got two empty seats. You have to get in.
Cirrus 528 Charlie Mike, traffic 2 miles out, Cherokee, wind 0804, 916 right, clear for takeoff.
60, cross check. There's 80, takeoff. There's 90, flaps up.
Cirrus 8 Charlie Mike, traffic heading to your right in a mile, turning to the downwind is a Cirrus, contact departure 134.2, good flight.
134.2, good day, Charlie Mike. Departure, good afternoon, November 528 Charlie Mike, 1,500, climbing 4,000.
Cirrus 528 Charlie Mike, second departure, radar contact, comma maintain 6,000.
6,000, Charlie Mike.
Cirrus 8 Charlie Mike, comma maintain 8,000.
8,000, Charlie Mike. Look at that, there's an overcast layer right on top of all of Los Angeles.
Cirrus 8 Charlie Mike, turn right, heading 320, when able, proceed direct Gorman, resume navigation.
320, direct Gorman, on nav, Charlie Mike, thank you.
528 Charlie Mike, SoCal for traffic, turn right, heading 030, climb and maintain 10,000.
030 and 10,000, Charlie Mike.
November 8 Charlie Mike, leaving 8,000, clear direct Gorman.
Leaving 8,000, direct to Gorman, Charlie Mike. Now we can go direct to Gorman. And there is Jenny, looking like she's in good shape. Alright, CHTs are coming down, we're in good shape. And we are about to level at 10,000. And we have a good tailwind, so we're doing 180 knots on the ground speed. We should be landing in 1 hour and 9 minutes. I think it was a couple weeks since I haven't flown. I took a flight to Napa Valley, but I did not videotape that one. And actually it was during that flight that I noticed Coyote Lake and Anderson Lake, and I decided to take my dog. I had the headsets for her for quite a bit, and then today I thought, you know, why not, because I'm not taking any passengers, it's going to be a relaxed flight. If she feels uncomfortable, then I can always go back to Van Nuys. Today, Jenny is serving as a silent co-pilot. I had Jenny for 6 years, a little over 6 years now. She was 35 days old when I had her. Her mother had passed away. And someone put an ad. Someone actually knew that I'm looking for a dog, but I was looking for a male dog. But her young picture was absolutely adorable.
118.86 Charlie, Delta.
Actually, we're gonna get handed off to Bakersfield as well, so maybe we can prepare 118.8. And the YouTube channel is slowly growing, and I'm happy about that. So thank you to everyone who subscribed. I appreciate that. 118.8. I wish you a pleasant day, Charlie Mike. Bakersfield, good afternoon. November 528, Charlie Mike, level 10,000.
Cirrus 528 Charlie Mike, Bakersfield approach, Bakersfield number is 29885.
985, Charlie Mike. One thing I will start doing is to, during my flights, time permitting, I'll talk about various aviation topics that interest people. And I'll start by today, on the way to St. Martin. I'll talk about my experience becoming a private and instrument-rated pilot. And on the way back, I'll discuss the Cirrus parachute and the pros and cons and why some people love it and some people, you know, are not particularly fascinated by it. So I started my love for aviation maybe when I was 6 years old, and that's a long topic maybe for another video. I did study aeronautical engineering and I did minor studies in computer science. I worked in the aeronautical field for about 8 years, and then I got into the technology business. I started
210, 5 miles from
2 small technology companies.
270, maintain 2,500, so south on localizer, clear Dallas approach.
And I always wanted to be a pilot. Not a commercial pilot, not taking people back and forth, but just having this liberty to go and jump on a plane and take a friend or a dog to somewhere beautiful, spend a day or a couple of days and fly back. And it's one of those things that sort of lent itself to be on the back burner, at least for me. Like thinking, okay, the stars will align and I will afford to have a lot of free time and a lot of plenty of money. And I used to ride my bicycle for about 20 to 25 miles. One of the bike rides I take is from Studio City to San Fernando train station, passing by Whiteman Airport, and I would sort of rest there for a few minutes and watch all those guys doing flight training and saying, you know, pretty soon it's going to be my turn. So one day I'm actually at my desk working, and this thought comes across to me that stars will never perfectly align, and I need to take the initiative. Just a couple of minutes after that, I was already researching different flight schools in Santa Monica. Van Nuys was the most interesting for me just because of its proximity. I found, I think, 2 or 3 different flight schools. Mach 1 Aviation had the best reviews, and I think it was the smallest one, so there was this, you know, sense of you know, being something small, so it's more personable. I called them up. 2.5 hours later, I was already doing my first lesson with Charlie Bednar, and I actually stayed with Charlie throughout my pilot course. I only switched instructor one time for 2 flights. Realized the other instructor, even though he was very good, even more experienced, but he had a different style, and I didn't want to start all over and get used to his method of teaching. So I went back to Charlie and never looked back, and only one time I flew with another instructor as Charlie requested, just to get feedback. It was sort of in preparation for my check ride, and then there was this phenomenal PPE designated pilot examiner at Van Nuys Airport. His name is Mark Boss, and he has a stellar reputation. I did my ground study with Jeppesen for the private pilot, and then I took the test. I did pretty well. I didn't want to miss any questions, but I missed one from 60, so I scored 98. And then we scheduled the check ride with Mark Boss, but before that I had to go to the FSDO, the Flight Standard District Office, right across from Van Nuys Airport, because I needed to change something on my student pilot certificate. The name was misspelled. Then the gentleman there, very nice guy, he asked me, he said, oh, you know, did you schedule the check ride? And I said, yes. He said, who are you flying with? And I said, Mark Boss. And he said, wow, if you pass Mark Boss, you must be a really good pilot. And I thought he's joking because he's implying that Mark is extremely tough, you know. And I thought he's joking, so I'm looking at him, waiting for him to laugh, but he didn't. And that's when I realized that, you know, this guy means business. And I did the oral with him. Little less than 4 hours, we covered everything, and he said, you did well, but I would like to get a discontinuance because we're running late. So we're going to have to reschedule the check ride portion, the flying portion of the check ride. And actually, before the check ride, I talked to a few pilots, and they all told me the same thing. He tests you on various things: technical takeoffs and landings, stalls, maneuvers, engine out procedures. And if you fail on any of them, he tells you, you just failed. Would you like to continue the check ride? Because you can continue, and then he will later retest you on another day on only the things you failed at. But they all warned me against that. They said, if he ever tells you you failed, just say, I want to go back to Van Nuys, do a couple of weeks of more training on whatever you failed at, and then reschedule your check ride. So the first thing is we did a short field takeoff, and now we're gonna come back around and do one of the technical landings, either soft field or a short field. So on downwind leg, the tower tells me, because I requested from the tower touch and goes. Let me just quickly look at my engine instruments. So on the downwind leg, the tower tells me November 311 Lima Sierra, there is a Gulfstream on runway 16 right, ready for takeoff. Do you have that Gulfstream in sight? I said Gulfstream in sight, and he said maintain visual separation with the Gulfstream. Runway 16 right, clear for the option. Okay, that's very easy. I have to stay away from the Gulfstream. He's about to take off. I'm still midfield, left downwind. Plenty of space. And tower always identifies the critical traffic for you. And that's the traffic you're following. because you're supposed to maintain visual separation. So at the Veterans Hospital, I started turning left base, and then I saw that he's actually resisting me. And he told me there's an airplane on final, and as a VFR pilot, and I was the pilot in command during that flight, it is your responsibility to see and avoid traffic. Even though I guess Tower 1 can make the argument that Tower takes
617, we still maintain 7,000.
maybe a little bit of the blame because he identified the traffic for me and told me to maintain visual separation even though I'm following another traffic.
Cirrus
So-
8 Charlie Mike, contact LA Center 119.05.
119.05, good day Charlie Mike.
Delta 22.
So as he identified this traffic for me and he told me don't turn left crosswind until that Cessna executes the landing or the final approach and passes us, right then and there it was cemented in my head that I failed my check ride, and it was not a pleasant feeling. And it's not easy seeing traffic when you're over Van Nuys. I mean, so many different colors because it's a densely populated area. But again, it's my responsibility. I didn't see it, so I accepted it. I said I failed, and it was a very bad feeling. But now I'm waiting for him to tell me you failed, you want to continue, and he's not. He keeps giving me other things to do. Short field takeoff, soft field landing, one after the other. So we finished the
LA 1082, I'm sorry, did we miss a switch?
technical takeoffs and landings, and then he actually told me to go somewhere between Van Nuys and Camarillo. So I got into the landing configuration and I was doing around 65 knots or something, and then he told me to do left 180, right 180, so I did the clearing turns first actually before I got into slow flight, and then I did the slow flight turns, and you're supposed to bank like 5 degrees left or right just because you're flying so slow. And then after that I did a power off stall.
2315, 28.8 descending on the
So I started stalling the airplane, and the cockpit started to sound stall. But the airplane hasn't stalled yet, so I keep pulling. And now he mumbles something. I mean, he didn't intentionally mumble, but he said something that I did not hear. So I kept stalling, and then he repeated it with a much louder voice, recover. That's when I knew that he asked me the first time to recover, and I didn't hear him, so I kept stalling. He said recover, I recovered, pushed the nose down, flaps 50, accelerating, flaps up, and now we're in the clean configuration. And then I got into the takeoff configuration, and he asked me to do a power on stall. Now, I was never, ever extremely comfortable with that maneuver. Challenge for me is the Cirrus is hard to stall with full power. You need to extremely do a pitch up for it to start stalling. And now you need a visual reference to stay coordinated. And most of that time skies were clear, and I'm not seeing any ground identifiable objects to keep the airplane coordinated reference to it. You just see pitch blue skies. So it's not extremely easy to figure out how much right or left rudder. The first couple of times I had my right wing drop, and I was trying to correct it with the aileron, and my instructor would tell me no, don't do that, correct it with the rudder. So it took me a few times to recognize and start actually using the rudder to stay coordinated and correct for any wing drop. And it actually makes sense. You're flying so slow and you have an extreme pitch-up attitude, the aileron is getting very little air. But because of the high RPM of the propeller, you're at full power, and the rudder is getting a lot of air. So using the rudder makes sense. I got into the takeoff configuration, did a power on stall, and I'm trying to stay coordinated with the rudder. Then again, I heard him mumble something. Again, not mumble, I don't mean any disrespect. He's an amazing DPE and a very nice gentleman and extremely fair. But I heard him say something over radio. I didn't hear it, but I assumed he said recover. So I did recover, and he didn't say anything. He was like, all right, you did it. That's good. So that was a good guess that he said recover. And then he told me, okay, he asked me to do a VFR flight plan from Van Nuys to Sacramento Executive. That's one of the tough things that, you know, when you start from Van Nuys and then you track your visual points, it's easy to do, but when you're in the middle of somewhere and you keep doing maneuvers, you might actually lose track of where you are. So you have to first orient yourself and then say, okay, then I need to do this heading, and then I'll intercept my initial VFR flight plan, and I did that, and then he proceeded to bring the engine to idle, so I ran the checklist to attempt to restart the engine. It didn't restart, or he said it's not restarting. Okay, so I started descending, and I said, okay, there is no airport I can glide to, I'm just gonna go to that field over there. I looked at the winds, and actually it was a tailwind. So I tried to calculate in my head roughly if I can make a 180 and turn into the wind and land on that field, and I was not comfortable doing that. So I told him that field is pretty long and I'm gonna land with a slight tailwind. He said okay, and around 700 feet HEL or around that area, he said okay, we have power, and then we started with the ground reference maneuvers. So turn around the point and then a rectangular turn, and then I don't remember after that what we did, but I think we went back to Van Nuys. And believe it or not, all during that time, it was cemented in my head that I failed. So when I landed back at Van Nuys, he told me congratulations after we got off the runway. And I didn't believe it. I thought he's like, you know, being sarcastic, like congratulations, you know, we didn't use the parachute or we didn't break the wing or something like that. But anyways, coming up on Avenal now, and it wants me to turn in 3 seconds, 2, 1. And now we're going to turn to the bugged heading 306, and we are doing that now. Checking on Jenny. Jenny seems in good shape.
SoCal approach 127.15.
Good job, Jenny. She's doing a good job. And then he told me, I'll meet you back at the office, shut down the airplane. I shut it down, and I'm sort of dragging my feet going up. And when I saw him hold the temporary airman certificate, all of a sudden, I knew that I passed that. That day, in August 2022, I officially became a pilot, which has been a lifelong dream. So, it was absolutely amazing, and I took a picture with him. I'll try and post it on this video.
3288, contact Santa Barbara approach 127.2.
Switch tanks. Now the general aviation ramp at St. Martin is all the way on the south side, so whenever we exit, we have to make a left turn and another left turn and taxi all the way down. Another thing to be mindful of is that the runway is 3,100 feet, so we can't like float for 2,000 feet and expect to land. It's not a short field landing, it's well within limitations, but we have to be aware of that. So if you guys like the videos, then I highly suggest you subscribe to the channel. I try and improve the videos every time I do a new video. If you have any comments about my flight training, please leave them down in the comment. And so far, I have been able to reply to every single comment. California is such a beautiful state, and if one has the time and the financial means, he would like fly every day to different airports, rent a car, or even use your bicycle and just go to these beautiful lakes, capture pictures, read a book and enjoy it. NorCal, good afternoon, November 528 Charlie Mike, level 10,000.
528 Charlie Mike, NorCal, post for the temperature 29905.
905 Charlie Mike.
Before contact approach on 128.32.
There is Hollister Airport.
Okay, Charlie Mike, do you have a San Martin Airport in sight now at 12 o'clock and about 13 miles?
Not yet, sir. 528 Charlie Mike.
November 8 Charlie Mike, verify you have the airport in sight now and to 12 o'clock and about 8 miles.
Airport in sight, 528 Charlie Mike.
528 miles, Roger, clear visual approach San Martin Airport.
Clear for the visual approach, San Martin Airport.
528 Charlie Mike, report cancellation of IFR with me, please, in the air
or here's a phone number I can give you contact if you don't have it.
Okay, I'll cancel IFR now. Thank you so much for your help. 528 Charlie Mike.
Thank you. I have cancellation received. Maintain VFR. Squawk VFR. Change frequency approved. Have a good day.
Thank you so much, Charlie Mike. St. Martin traffic, November 528 Charlie Mike is about 6 miles to the south, 6,000 descending, and will maneuver to enter right downwind runway 32 St. Martin. Pretty high, so maybe we can slip this a little bit, so right rudder. St. Martin traffic, November 528 Charlie Mike is now midfield, heading northeast of the runway. We'll do a 180 and then enter right downwind to runway 32, full stop, St. Martin. St. Martin traffic, November 528 Charlie Mike, now turning right base, runway 32, full stop, St. Martin. Okay, flaps 50. St. Martin traffic, number 528 Charlie Mike, now turning final approach runway 32, full stop, St. Martin. Speed is good. Okay, feet on the pedals. Runway made, power to idle.
17 traffic, I'll submit to 4 mile final 32. 17.
St. Martin traffic, number 528 Charlie Mike is now exiting the runway. Good day, guys.
St. Martin traffic, 5420 Alpha, taking 32 for a straight out departure. San Martin.
Okay, and we just made it to Coyote Lake, and it is very beautiful. And where is our little princess? There she is. Hi, Janie.